Okay, 3, 2, 1. Coming up is the cleanest and dirtiest gaming sensation you'll ever see.
And also how to turn a first-person shooter into a relaxing experience.
And I'll be talking about all the nozzles and soaps you need to make everything shiny and sparkly.
Hi, I'm Josh, the community manager.
I'm Pete, the lead programmer.
And I'm Dave, a designer, and we're all working at Futurlab.
And we're here as part of the London Games Festival official selection. And this is PowerWash Simulator.
Let's go washing.
Let's get our nozzles on.
PowerWash Simulator is a simulation game where you power wash things.
The game in a nutshell is a first-person shooter game that is non-violent, that is purely about taking something that is incredibly dirty and making it clean.
Which sounds quite dull at first, but there is some incredible sense of satisfaction when playing the game that is just really hard to uncover at first.
Players definitely seem to find it relaxing. It's like they'll switch it on and say, okay, let's see what this game's about. And they might switch between a few different nozzles and fire around all sorts of here and there, just not with any real focus. But very quickly, usually by the end of the first job, they're starting to sort of take their time and just clean more methodically. Everything about the game sort of encourages like a zen-like flow state.
Okay, it's time for some gameplay. It's time to wash.
Let's get some things.
Let's make it shiny.
So this is literally the first thing you will do in the game. So every player will pretty much be in this situation, going from dirty to clean.
There's the first thing.
So each like place to clean or vehicle or whatever it is split up into lots of pieces, right?
Yep. So you got the sort of the doors or the tire. So we sort of carefully plan out how we're going to break down these objects, but before we start making them.
And you were talking earlier about the time to ding. This one actually has quite a lot of dings in quick succession, but that's not always the case in every level.
Well, actually, in this one, you're using the heavy power washer, so you're cleaning all this dirt a little bit faster than a player would coming straight into the game.
So yeah, this is the Prime Vista 3000, isn't it? So this is actually not the heaviest duty at the moment, but almost there. So it is almost cheating, going back in time. But some people love doing that. Some people have gone back and then speed run things with the more powerful equipment and just push the boundaries of what the earlier levels could add, because you can go back in free play. So this is actually free play mode right now, not the career mode. So you can replay any of the levels at any time in free play and restart them at any time as well.
Speaking of equipment as well, you just moved the little steps there, and that's something we find like throughout all of our levels, is that we've got different types of equipment to use to help you navigate. We've got some scaffolding and we've got some ladders as well.
I mean, I guess as well. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to mention that I find quite interesting, something that players might not realize at first, is that how the whole dirt painting, as we call it internally, but the whole dirt placement is something that is heavily, altered content. Like, it's something quite artistic. So we have a design pass, like, just to get the feel for how the game should be played and how hard it should be to wash each object and how long it takes. And then we have an art pass just to make it prettier, if you can say that about dirt. And each you can have just stacked layers of dirt, so you can have grime, then bird poo, and graffiti, and Dave knows a lot more about this, but how to make dirt appealing, not only for you to wash, but even for you to see, like to make it feel feasible as well, but also appealing at the same time.
Yeah, and saying about appealing, like you can see the reflections there on the side of the van of the window. It's something that the artists definitely pushed early on. Of like, we want this thing to go from being an absolute horrible state into being the shiniest, cleanest van that anyone's ever seen. So it's definitely something that the art team pushed.
There you go.
Job complete. But this, I guess, is one of the big features, and I guess the big payout at the end of each level, I think. I actually must have just gone round in a circle to investigate. But
no.
we'll jump
there you
into
go.
There it is.
replay. People absolutely love the replays and sharing them, and just seeing at the end all of your work compiled into one GIF is, I guess, really satisfying.
It's quite cool to see how people have different strategies to wash. So there's a lot more than just one way to play the game. And when we see other people playing like same levels that we play, we can find some new strategy, new way to do things. Like maybe sometimes a better way in terms of time that it takes to complete the level, but also there are some very artistic expressions there.
So this trailer is the co-op trailer, and essentially it was announcing the fact that multiplayer co-op is coming into the game. And I think we've always wanted to show people playing the game. I think we've understood further through PowerWash Simulator that the most powerful thing is other people seeing other people play the game and their reaction to the game, because people don't initially always get the idea that why would the power washing simulator work? And I think people's reactions show them why that they're going to have fun with this experience.
It's getting too late.
Let's get cleaning.
Oh, it's so shiny.
So dirty.
Danny!
Get in there, you're gonna love it.
Gotta get in there, big time. I like what I'm hearing.
Those dings keep you going.
Ding ding!
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I love this.
Oh my gosh.
There are dings, so there must be some cleaning happening.
This is looking great.
Oh my god, that's satisfying.
Whew, the satisfaction.
It's game over now.
Oh, look at that.
I think my work here is done.
So the next level we're going to look at is a detached house, which is iconic for PowerWash Simulator on the front page on Steam at the moment, and I guess everyone will see it. But it'll be fun. Let's jump in.
Yeah, the Detached House was our very first level when we made the demo of the game that went out maybe 1 year before the game, the official game came out. So it's quite an iconic thing for us to just revisit it with a much more modern and much better approach to dirting and washing things.
So going in here, actually, I think I was quite methodical when I was recording the gameplay, but a lot of players do this going up and down in straight lines and just taking piece by piece an entire house. I don't think I've actually look up just yet at the entire house, but it's interesting, like we said before, about players really tackling different parts of levels differently, and a lot of people do divide it up or have their own systems that they work from.
I think a great thing about this detached house is you have a really nice mix of these big flat surfaces like the driveway, like the garage door, and they sort of balance nicely with the things like the railings and the windowsills, which are a bit more difficult to clean.
And this level also starts to introduce some more elaborate mechanics in terms of like reaching out to different areas of the object you're washing. So when you first start the game, there's a van which you can pretty much just walk around and clean most of it. Like you have to jump on it at some point, but most of the job can be done quite easily just walking around it. But on the detached house, you have to actually go to the roof and start jumping and climbing on stairs, and it definitely. I think it's a pretty good introduction to these new mechanics, new elements, because they're definitely going to be required on later levels.
To clean these railings is a very different experience to just clean like the driveway and the large flat walls. You have to hit these from a ton of different angles. You have to crouch down and get on the undersides as well. So they're much more complicated objects to clean, and it was kind of a nice experience, like hearing what people thought from early access. Like, did they like trying to sort of find the dirt and then clean it, or was it more just about they just wanted something like the driveway where all the dirt was there in front of them and they could just clean it? So was a really nice bit of feedback we got there from the community.
I think this part of the games on this level is quite a good example as well of one of the design and art challenges we have in the game, which is like building appealing, like good-looking levels, but without compromising one of the core elements of the game, which is the contrast between dirty and clean areas. So, for example, on this area here, you can see some shadows from the trees and just from the environment around you. And like, how do you have those elements to give it some depth and some life to that environment without making getting the players confused about, well, is this like just a dark area or is it a dirty area, right? So it's quite a constant challenge for us when designing levels to get that right.
I just saw the player there use the dirt finder thing where everything flashed yellow. That's there we go again. The player's just trying to find little spots of dirt that maybe they can't see unless they sort of got really close or go from a specific angle. But just hitting a button brings up the highlights all the dirt that's left on the building in yellow, and just allows you to find those last little specks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and definitely Dave can talk about it, but one of the most time-consuming bits of the design side of the game is just getting the balance right in terms of setting up what clean means, because like if the game was about washing everything like 100% and nothing else, it will be quite like challenging for most players, because it's quite easy for you to forget just a tiny area behind, and that can be quite frustrating to be like just pixel hunting those bits later on. So how much dirt you're actually allowed to leave there for an object still be considered clean, right? So without making it like players are cheating or just kind of like being too heavily like hand guided somewhere. So it's always a very hard balance to find out when designing and building those levels.
Yeah, for sure. Like how clean is clean enough before we give you that ding, and it is a careful balance that we need to do, and it's have to judge on the complexity of the object and sort of how much time it's going to take to clean. The last thing we want to do is rob players of the satisfaction of cleaning that last little square of dirt, and it's definitely something that has happened, but it's something that we're working on as well to get right for when we go live on 1.0.
And I guess that's the joy of being early access. We get that feedback, and a lot of feedback, and the people are very passionate about that feedback as well. And we do get a lot of feedback on the levels and the gameplay, which is wonderful in some ways to have that as a resource.
And from that feedback, we could also, I think we can very easily identify two main groups of players, right? So there are some players who constantly complain about that they are unable to wash that very last bit, like the very last pixel of dirt from the level. And but we also have some players who just want to have a more relaxing thing, just be walking around, washing, and just getting some dings and like getting objects complete without having to hunt those last pieces of dirt like for too long. So yeah, how to make the game appealing to both ends at the same time, because those are conflicting points of view, right? Approach to the game.
And I guess some of the things we've added are like the dirt finding menu at the end, where it pops up and it shows you the last 3 details, and you can also go into your menu and select an object, and it'll make that particular part of the object flash, which is still dirty, but you might not necessarily see it on a first scan. And that highlight tool we showed earlier, I think we have implemented some things so far as well that help without changing the gameplay itself, I guess is a way of maybe putting it.
Yeah.
But I think in this level, the slide face there, you can see how dirty the back is compared to the front now. So we're jumping into the next one, or maybe even spinning, because it's the carousel level. Let's go in and see some cleaning. So I guess this is the first level with music as well that we have in the game. where it plays a fun, fair soundtrack whilst the level is spinning. But do you guys want to talk about, like, I guess the main feature, the movement, and some of the other ones I'm showing off now?
Yeah, we can see the lights there. They're an absolute game changer. Like, not just revealing a clean surface, but revealing like an emissive surface. It's just next level satisfying.
I think
this level had... sorry, go on.
No, you go, Pete.
I was just going to say that this level was a primer, like was a challenge in many ways. So it's the first level that we made that has a dynamic element like this. So it's spinning carousel. So you're able to not only wash, but also stand and interact with like a moving object in the game. And also, of course, the emissive lights, which brings a lot of just a different satisfaction type when you wash them. Is just something new. And it was quite a challenging level, but I think it was like a really good milestone for us internally, because from then on, like pretty much all our levels started to have something new. Like they start like something new compared to the early levels we released in terms of either new elements, or they just started to push the boundaries on how large they can be, on how hard it is to reach some areas, or like how you have to interact with ladders and scaffolding and other things to reach those areas. So it's a level I can say, like, I personally am really proud of, like what we achieved on all levels, on the technical side, on design side, and art side. It's a pretty cool level.
One of the things about this level is because it is the first one to have some moving elements. It also means that we get some dirt that gets hidden and revealed depending on the position of the horses. So as they go up, the tops of the poles get hidden, and the bottom of the poles are revealed. So people that would turn off the carousel and clean it would often get to the very end and be like, oh, I don't know where that last bit of dirt is. And it's you need to turn the carousel on to reveal that bit of dirt. It was just a little bit different, a little bit of a different challenge.
Thanks everyone for watching us. Now let's do some washing.
If you want to play PowerWash Simulator, it's available right now in Steam Early Access.
Thanks to the London Games Festival for having us. Stay clean.
Stay clean.